What's up, duelists? Eden here, and welcome to the Old School Team Retro Yu-Gi-Oh channel. First of all, as you can see, we make some changes, and the previous channel no longer has any connection with us. So make sure you are already subscribed to our new channel and share it with everyone, so we can not only reach our previous subscriber mark, but also surpass it now. Do you remember that Endymion Spellcasters deck profile on Edison format I bring you 2 years ago? I finally bring you updates, so share it with your friends, spellcasters, and spell counter lovers in Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you like it, don't forget you're sub to this new channel. We'll have a lot of new content to share with you. So let's go to the profile. And here we are, guys. That's new version of the deck I want to show you. Consists on focusing not only on our boss monster Endymion and Magical Citadel, but especially in the rest of our spellcaster monsters, bringing different features including synchro plays, more protections and follow-ups, taking full advantage of the spell counter engine the deck have. Remember, that's a fourth deck, since the spell counter engine is more fragile. In a format we have free Book of Moon, free Compulsory, Giant Grenade, Chaos, and Brionac that responds more slowly through these interactions. Of course, the build having 40 cards in the main deck, having 19 monsters, 18 spells, and 3 traps, starting with 1 Endymion, the Master Magician, 2 Magical Citadel of Endymion, 1 Self-Forming, and 3 Spell Power Grasp. About only 1 Endymion, we don't need more than that, because we have Foolish Burial on the deck that is far better than when you open with it. Endymion can be special summoned by the graveyard too, so Foolish Burial saves you to dead draw it, and as a spell card, have the plus to put a spell counter on a Citadel face up on the field, letting Endymion ready to enter at any time when Citadel have 6 or more spell counters. Power Grasp to boost any card off the deck with spell counters to make plays at the same time. You will always be cleaning the deck, search for another one at resolution to be used in the next turn. Level 4 monsters being the major of them, starting with the light ones, Crusader of Endymion, 3 Defender, the Magical Knight, and 2 Honest. Crusader being a 190,100 monster on the field, and that can stay more time on the field with Honest, having more chances to become an effect monster, in addition to putting a spell counter on some card, can become even stronger with 2,500 attack. If Crusader exists, Gem Spark 2, being the best spell in the deck in my opinion, since you can deal with anything quick, draw a card, and if you can, put a spell counter on the field. Oh, but have only 3 Crusader, isn't that too little for 3 sparks? Like in Hero Beat, besides you have 3 Elemental Alias, you have another ways to get into it like Rhoda, Emergence Call, and Stratos. Unfortunately, we haven't any reinforcement of the army for spellcaster type monsters, but we have something similar. Magician Circle. The only traps of the deck precisely because it is a deck focused on spell counters, but serving to accelerate the monster plays that this deck have at most. If this card was a spell card, of course, would be far better, but it's what we have. 3 Defender, because we don't have other traps or protections in this new build, so we depend on it. And with Honest, then, defenders on the field can be even more annoying for the opponent to deal with this way. Then Magician Circle so far can be used to call pressure or protection, can be a very useful card when resolved. Oh, but the opponent can special summon a spellcaster monster from their deck too. Yes, but most of the time he will bring a Lila, that's a common spellcaster staple in Edison format decks, and you will have at most 1 Citadel that can be protected by destruction, removing a spell counter on it instead. The bad fact is that the opponent's Lila can be feared to be a body on the field that can serve as synchro material or mill good things on end phase, but let's consider the best scenarios to use that trap here, okay? One of the other principal spell counter effect monsters this deck have to run, 3 Magical Exemplar. 3 because it's options per turn and guarantee any extensions or follow-ups during your turn. It's the monster reborn of the deck that can also special summon spellcasters from hand. Very useful. 2 Breakers because I think 3 is 2 enough to deal with back row, Since we have Heavy Storm, MST, Endymion Spark to do the same. The deck cries over or oppression, so run the further copy in the side deck can help, but skill drain is the real problem, because not only the effect, but all the spell counters that are on your monsters will go. Soul Twister inside deck is even better. Summoner Monk that normally brings Flamvel Magician to Synchro 8, easy. But if Flamvel is already in graveyard in your hand, Monk can serve as another copy of Crusader to help in Gemini Spark appearances, Defender if you already have spell counters on the field to protect, or Exemplar to extend plays. Still talking about tuners, we have Blackwing Gale, that for me is the best tuner free to run this deck, because besides doing Synchro, you have attacks with it. And Knights and Sorcerer, that have a very nice effect that can be activated when you bring it with Exemplar or Magician Circle. That's the classic combo of the deck too. Normal Exemplar, Foolish Burial to Knights and Sorcerer. Exemplar will gain 2 counters. Effect Exemplar to Special Summon Knight's End. Effect Knight's End to banish up to 2 in your opponent's graveyard and make Synchro. This is a spellcaster deck that run light and dark monsters. Of course, we have to run Chaos Sorcerer that can be reborn by Magical Exemplar if it was summoned properly before. That's the monsters and the traps, so let's go to the rest of the spells. Heavy Storm and MST, standard. Swords of Revealing Light, just to buy time for increased spell counters on your cards or to accumulate resources. Brain Control, and this time to Instant Fusion. In the worst cases, you take control of any opponent's monster, activate Instant Fusion, and tribute the monsters to normal summon Endymion, lol. But Instant Fusion can be a nice extender if you open with the tuners or with the Exemplar combo. In the old version of this build was only 1 instant and 1 Magician King. But I've tried Darkfire Dragon and I like it, especially for the Flamvel Magician in existence, reaching the Synchros level 8 more easily and running 2 instant optimized it appearances in hand. And the last 2 cards, 2 Magical Dimension. Okay, most of you may hate this card, but surprising, it works sometimes. Besides, was the only quick play spell card that comes close to Gemini Spark, and you will thank it when you open with it. And if you don't like the idea of Magician Circle in this deck, that's fully understandable. You can try Trutro's Trap Hole for the unique trap of the deck, and the other 2 slots, maybe double Smashing Ground. That's one of the best spell card that normally deals with opponent monsters, or maybe Forbidden Chalice to avoid Chaos and Bryonak, maybe. It's said that Chalice deals with the effect, but not with the monster in that turn. So, in a slower format like Edison, I don't think it can really work. What do you think of all? Tell us in the comments. In addition to Instant Fusion targets I showed it before, we have, of course, Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. To be another reason for you to run Cyber Dragon in this deck, beyond the fact that you run Honest and the other side card recommendations, which I'll show you later that works with it. Level 8, Colossal, Tough Ruler, and Stardust. Level 7, important, Black Rose, Arcanine Magician. That's the principal extra deck monster, since you can loop destructions with other spell counters you have on the field beyond what it receives when Synchro Summon. And running more than 1 instant fusion, you can see it more times, which is the ideal. Armor Master, because of Gale, it can hold up sometimes. Level 6, Goyo, Explosive Magician, that's cool when you get it. Bryonak, and Tempest Magician, that's good for finishing. That's the way I don't like Upstart Goblin in this deck, because it can get in the way of it. And the last ones, level 5, Android and Catastor. For side recommendations, Cyber Dragon, that's not only important for Maritime Fortress, Pressure, and On Assaults, but serve as tribute for Fog King, Anti-Monarch, Icarus Attack, Gemini Spark, and Stardust card. And the smoke screen, this side can turn into a Spellcaster control deck, and the principal Secret Village. Cool, right? Twister to avoid skill drain and royal oppression, System Down to deal even more with Machinas, Soul Release for Light Swarms, and Royal Decree for heavy trap decks, since this deck is not focused on trap cards. So that's it, guys. Don't forget to like the video and comment what you think of this updating, and be sure you are subscribed to this new channel of ours. Thank you and see you in the next video. Yu-Gi-Oh! Beyond the Meta.